Now, once again, I'll be starting now. My name is JunLiang. I'm the trainer here in Amazon Seller Education Team, which is part of the Amazon Global Selling Team, and I'm located in Singapore. So later on, Sean will also join me in the later part for any Q&A where there is any questions that, as an onboarding specialist, Sean will be able to assist if there is any questions from any one of you. So again, there's a Q&A box I will go through in the next few slides when we begin, all right? So do note that, right, the session today, there will be a recording. So if you have some key concepts you want to take note of or record down, don't worry, you can go back and watch the recording. I will usually upload the recording in about 1 to 2 days within that week's time. So it will be available on our official YouTube channel. So there's the link over there you can scan through. If not, in the follow-up emails, I will also share the link as well. So again, if you have any questions, put in the Q&A box. All right, so there will be somewhere you can see an option for Q&A. Please, you can use that option to put in any questions that you have. And I know some of you actually put in your questions during the sign up. I've already taken down all those questions, which I will address at the end of the session. So if, let's say, you just sign up not long ago, I may have missed your questions. In that case, you can put it again into the Q&A. All right. So because we are doing recording, right? In case that you were to see this recording probably a few months down the road, to make sure that whatever that we are presenting today is accurate as of today. So if you were to see it maybe in a few months' time down the road, do make sure to go online to refer to our online resources such as Seller University or Seller Central Help for the latest up-to-date information, especially for things like policies or eligibilities, criteria, etc. All right, so these are some important notice. Please take about a couple of seconds to read through, and then we'll head right in through the agenda for today. All right, then, so here we go. This is what we're going to be discussing today. I'll talk about today. Now, we have quite a bit to cover. So if at any point of time you think that I'm speaking a little bit too fast or you need me to slow down, do let me know, all right? And I'll do that. So first of all, we'll talk about like what is cross-border fulfillment and what is exactly FBAs. So I'm sure we all know in short, right, it just means the fulfillment is through international logistics. So over on the right-hand column, or rather the right-hand image, that's where you will see an overview of, it started from a seller like yourself over here, and then through the different steps, like doing your domestic shippings to the warehousing, and then to the export declarations, and then via shipping through sea or air, and then import clearance up until transport to the destination country. So in our context, it's Amazon.com, the US fulfillment center, right? So you can see there's a lot of steps involved until it finally reach your customer, which is the buyer, right? So there are two common cross-border fulfillment method. Now, first one on top you see is a sales fulfilled by Amazon. All right, meaning that there are some services that Amazon helps to take care of your first mile logistics. And then when your stock arrives in the FBA fulfillment center, this is your inventory part that sits in your FBA inventory in the fulfillment center in the US. And then lastly, which is the last mile delivery, the product has been delivered to your customer via the FBA services provided by Amazon. So this is your end customer, right? So another way is, of course, there is an option that you can do your own fulfillment. You can do it what we call the self-fulfillment, MFN or FBM in short. So essentially, this whole part it will be handled by you. The sales need to be fulfilled by the seller, which is yourself, and you need to take care of all the buying, the shipping, engaging the third-party carrier, doing the picking, packing, etc., and updating your shoppers on the status. All right. So you can see that if by using FBA, right, that means that a seller like yourself, you can send the product in bulk to the fulfillment center, and then Amazon will take the responsibility for you in terms of storing the products. And then when the product is sold, Amazon will pick, package, and ship the order to your customers. And apart from that, right, the customer services like addressing any questions your customer may have will also be done in their local languages as well. So there'll be questions, things like seller may want to know, oh, what is the return policy, or things like where is the product details, or things like where is it made from. So long the details are in your listing, the Amazon support can actually help to respond to your customers. All right. So as mentioned earlier on, there are two ways to ship to the Amazon. All right. So one way is to generate like I mentioned, to generate so-called all the orders yourself, to pick and pack and ship the items yourself. And probably you may know that most of them are pretty expensive in terms of the delivery methods. Now, the other method is the FBA, which store the goods in the Amazon fulfillment center in your destination country, which is the market that you are selling, which is the Amazon US, and then it will deliver the order within the destination country for you. All right. So the first mile of the journey, right, can be handled by a third-party carrier by Amazon. So there are some services, provided, which I'll mention later as well, that can help you to take care of the first mile logistic, which is the orange part. All right, and then the blue color part is essentially the part FBA part. All right, so start from the over here. Once you reach the fulfillment center, Amazon FBA will take care of the process over here until the end, and it reaches your customers. Got it? All right. So these are the four key benefits. Now, first of all, you get to have deliver or provide faster shipping to your customers. So your FBA, your products that is enrolled in FBA will be eligible for the Amazon Prime's free 2-day or 1-day shipping. So the buyer can choose the free shipping option on the eligible order. Now, second one is what I mentioned. Your customers actually get 24/7 customer service from Amazon associate to support, and then it will be handled in the local languages. So things and questions like the refunds or returns. So it will eliminate, unnecessary stress on you that you need to respond to your customer on time. So using FBA also help to increase your product discovery and the chance of getting your product into the shopping cart. Now, when you combine it with the advertising, right, FBA is pretty efficient at getting exposure and doubling the number of visits and purchase for enrolled ASIN. Later on, you will see also some of the discounts that the sellers will be able to actually be eligible for to reduce your logistic costs, and that will actually save you reduce some costs that you can use it to expand your business. So these are one of the important things you want to know, which is the FBA charges. There will be a different segment. Now, first of all, is the storage fee. All right, it's calculated by per cubic foot per month. And then there is a fulfillment fee. All right, based on your item charges, and also the size and the weight of each item. And then with these two, right, it will become your FBA fees. Right. In fact, when you have a FBA listing, you can actually see in the Seller Central, there's a column which is the FBA fee. You can know clearly like which is the amount that you will need to pay Amazon to help you with the fulfillment. So not to worry, right? We do have a FBA revenue calculator. So if you want to have an idea on, how much it's going to cost you, etc., you can head on to the link which I will share at the end of the video as well. You can use the calculator to let you get a sense of, what is the estimated fee based on the products that you are planning to sell on Amazon.com, and based on the unit that you have and the storage as well. So at the end of it, right, you also give you an overview of what is your potential revenue. And of course, the assumption is that you actually put in the right info in the revenue calculator. All right, so I can actually do a quick demo. I have it open. Let me just share my browser over here. All right, I hope you are still with me. Okay, so this is my browser. I actually opened up already the link. So you can actually search via, Google search and search for FBA revenue calculator. So you can use this even without a Seller Central account. All right, so not to worry. So over here, right, this is the calculator. All right, you can define your product or you can estimate in bulk, right? I'm gonna do a quick, demo to make it simple, right? Let me see. You can actually search for, to make it easier, you can search for your item that you think is something that is a competing product. So you can have a sense of what is the typical pricing and the dimension. So I'm just gonna, search for maybe example, water bottle. Okay, just to make it easy. All right, okay, so they will give you some example. Now I'm going to take example like this is maybe I want to sell this item. All right, this is just an example. All right, so it will actually help you populate some of this information quickly. Now this will give you a rough estimate. Let's say if you don't know the package dimension on hand, it's okay. You just need to find something that you think is very similar to what you're going to sell. All right, then you can put in your item price. This is the price that you are planning to sell your item for, right? And then choose a different inventory that you might have, right? This is up to your planning, or I'll just keep it as default for you for now, right? And then you can see there's two columns over here. One is Amazon fulfillment, is the cost that you're going to incur if you are using FBA. And then your fulfillment is the cost that you potentially going to incur if you are going to ship the product to the customer yourself. So there are more inputs that you're going to put here, like, what is your fulfillment cost, right? This is something I wouldn't know. This will be up to your plan, the logistic provider they're going to use, etc. Right, you can see, so at the end of it, right, let's say you have put in all the right values already. Then over here, they will tell you what is your estimated net profit and your estimated net margin. Of course, I just want to keep it simple. Everything is just one over here to make it easy. And of course, you can play around with this after the session to actually get a more accurate estimate. All right, so that is the revenue calculator. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint slides. Okay. All right. Okay, back to the slide. So yeah, this is something that I shown you earlier on, right? So you can go play around with it after that. So yeah, there is also a more in-depth guide because today we are talking more about the introductory, but there is a more in-depth guide over here in Seller University and Seller Central. I will share the link as well later on. So in Seller University, we have a couple of modules to actually bring you and walk you through step by step on creating the shipment process, and etc. and what are different programs we have. And then on the Seller Central as well, there's a different step-by-step guide for you. All right, so moving on to the number two we are going to talk about. Before that, I just want to emphasize, if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A box and we will address it at the end of the session. So the new seller incentive, under the new seller incentive for 2023, so one of it is FBA selection program. So I'll walk you through what is this new seller incentive. So this is the incentive that is provided for seller who actually registered for a professional seller account that is having a viable ASIN means that your ASIN is viable after the 1st of March this year. You will be under this new seller incentive program 2023. So I will go through in a few slides on what are the benefits. All right, so what I mentioned earlier on, to unlock the benefit, there is a couple of tasks. Now, first of all, the eligibility is that it has to be professional seller that lists the first viable ASIN on or after first of March this year. And then the task one is that the seller has to be enrolled in a brand registry, meaning that you will need to be a brand owner. And then to be a brand owner, you will need to have a registered or pending trademark. Then you can register in brand registry. All right. By doing so, right, there's a benefit, the 5% so-called bonus on up to 1 million in branded sales in the first year. And you also get $200 credits for Vine. So Vine is a review management tool or program. All right. So, and there's also $100 in credit for the brand protection tools. All right, this is the first one. And then the second task is that you were to ship your inventory to Amazon fulfillment center within the first year. And then doing that, you will get up to $200 in credits for inbound shipping. And you also be automatically enrolled into the FBA new selection, which is part of the new seller incentive. And then the third one is that you can, if you were to use the Amazon coupon within the first 12 months, you also get $50 credits, all right, for the fee charged for creating coupons. So what is this? So is that for every coupon that is being utilized, there is a 60 cents USD charge, all right. So last, I think there's one, advanced one. All right. So it is that if you were to ship a ASIN, which your product, to an Amazon fulfillment center within 60 days, and then you also create an ad campaign for it with no expiration date for sponsored product, you will get a $50 Amazon sponsored product ads discount. All right. So there is a few more other discounts as well. I won't go through each and single one, but there will be a link that I will share that you can go through what are all the benefits that you can have to help you reduce your cost of starting a business. So I have a frequently asked question is that for a seller who actually already using it, right? So how can I check if Amazon has applied the 5% rebates on whatever that we mentioned earlier, like for branded sales, for Vine, or for coupons? So not to worry, inside there is actually a dashboard that you can see via reports, payment, transaction, right? You can see what are the different deduction or referral fees and the rebates that is appearing if you're eligible. So you can actually keep track of it. So there's also a dashboard as well, which I'll show you. All right, so this is going into a little bit more detail on this FBA new selection, which is part of the new seller incentive. So the benefits specifically on FBA will be things like the free storage, there's a free removal, free returns processing, and on the 5% rebate on the sales. All right. So these are the benefits that is specifically on the FBA new selection. So the eligible seller who are eligible based on the criteria above will get all these things like, first of all, the storage fee up to 4 months and up to 100 unit per ASIN. All right, this is for the product category. You have to take note there's different product category. This is for the clothing, accessories, and shoes and bags. All right, and they are also category that is not part of the group above. There'll be different tier of different benefits for different product group. All right, you can briefly read through here. I will share the link. So don't have to go into details. All the details will be in the link shared. And then I'll move on to the next one. All right. So this is the eligibility requirement that I mentioned earlier on, but maybe in a more detailed aspect. What is the eligibility to enjoy the benefits? Again, the listed first viable ASIN has to be after March 1st this year. And reason being, if you actually have a ASIN that is viable, that is listed before March 1st, that will be under 2022 New Seller Incentive Program. There's just slight difference. So yeah, if you are, if you want to know whether or not you're under the 2022 or 2023, you can actually check out the dashboards. This is the one I was talking about. So you can find out about your benefits. Now in your Seller Central, you'll be able to see this FBA new selection dashboard. So it will actually show you your program status, what is your and what is your enroll ASIN, how many order, etc. What's your savings so far, etc. over here. So you can keep track of the benefits that you have actually utilized from the program. So there is another thing called Small and Light program for FBA. So this is a solution for the light and small products. All right. And then the eligibility I will talk about in the next slide. So basically do take note of the red key point is that there are some types of product that is not eligible for this small and light program. You'll be things like the restricted product, adult product, dangerous goods, or those with expiry dated product. And there are things like crushable products such as potato chips, glass, are only eligible as long as they are not, as long as they are properly packaged. All right, and then there are some temperature sensitive items, things like maybe chocolate, is not accepted during this period. Gotta to take note of the date, right? And then I have a link over here. Now, the main reason is really because of the temperature during this period. It is likely not suitable to store all of these temperature sensitive products. All right, so these are the eligibility, right? The item size to be considered as a small and light. All right, we will just focus on the US. All right, since this is the market that is most popular for most of the seller. All right, you can see this is the item size. It has to be 45 by 35 by 20 cm, and the item price has to be less or equal than $10 USD, and the weight has to be less or equal than 1,360 grams. All right. So for these smaller items, right, you can actually enroll in a small and light program to enjoy some of these advantages like lower shipping costs, and then you will get a Prime badge as well. All right. Now, with this, right, obviously it will help to bring in more sales conversions. All right. So next is regarding the inventory planning policy. All right, so there is also a way inside for you to check your storage volume limit and your restock limit. So this will ensure that you don't overstock, you don't actually order too much until the fulfillment center do not have the inventory for you to store your products. All right, sorry, yeah, that's actually the first one I was talking about, inventory management. Okay, so the inventory, or rather the storage limit, is based on volume in cubic feet. All right, now for example, if you're using the individual selling account, meaning that there's no monthly fee, you are only paying a referral fee for per unit sold, right? So for individual selling account, there is a fixed storage limit. It's only 10 cubic feet, all right? And then this value will not change. It's a fixed limit, and then the storage limit will not be able to increase at all. All right. Now, however, if you're on the professional selling account, meaning that you actually pay $39.99 USD every month for your professional selling account, you will have a storage limit still, but there are certain cases where your storage limit can be more. All right, so for seller who maintain a good inventory performance index, right, you can actually get you'll be subjected to storage limit for standard size, oversized clothing and footwear, etc. All right, so these are some of the requirements in order to get your storage limit adjusted, etc. So how do you improve your IPI, which is the inventory performance index? Because improving these will allow you to have more storage. Now, again, if the IPI is low, your storage size may also be adjusted accordingly, right? So these are the key factors. First of all, your excess inventory percentage, and then your sell-through rate, and also your stranded inventory percentage and your FBA in-stock rate. All right, and then there are a couple of ways that help to improve your IPI scores. So you can reduce your excess inventory, or you can increase your sell-through rate, or you can fix your stranded inventory, and making sure that your stocks are always in. All right, your top selling product are always in stock. So your IPI score will improve. Now I'll talk about in the next few slides what are some of the ways that you can do all this. All right, this is about the restock limit. So in the FBA under the Seller Central, you can view your storage type level restock limit. All right, there's a utilization. These are the different metrics that you can see. All right, so utilization will include your current inventory and your incoming shipments. So when you send in your shipment, you will be putting a unit inside the shipment, your shipment plan. So that will be included under utilization. All right, so it's actually mentioned here, your shipment in transit and receiving, etc. All right, so there is a maximum inventory which is calculated based on your past and forecasted sales. So in Seller Central, there is actually a dashboard for you, so you don't have to worry where to find it. So in the dashboard, you can quickly have a quick glance on what is your performance index, how many you should start to restock, and how much excess unit you have, etc. All right, and then if there's any stranded inventory, they will also notify you in Seller Central and advise you to restock your inventory. So there are actually, system in place to make sure that our sellers are aware of, some of the inventory updates, so that they will be always notified on any low stock and to keep their IPI index green. All right. So over here, this is more about what are the promotions, how you can clear out your excess inventory and other tools available. Right, let's look at the diagram in detail, right? So we are going from the reclaim value of remove inventory, right? Going from large, meaning that on top, right, you will be able to reclaim more value by doing the steps above, and then until the end where you can only get back a smaller value from your product. All right. So you can see over here, there are different route. Like if you have a, sellable inventory, what you can do is you can run promotional tools using the coupons, prime exclusive discount and lightning deals, etc. And you can also use outlet deals to actually make your product more visible for your sellers to promote your leftover inventory. Right. So let's say if you have some inventory that is unsellable, meaning that the items are returned because they are defective or they are actually damaged during the transition. All right. So there are some service here, that will help to do some repackaging or refurbishment services. All right. So if the item is look like there's no way to be repackaged or refurbished, right? Then you will be moving on to the next step that either can't be they will also look at whether it can be graded and resell. If all things has been done and there's no way that the unsellable inventory can be made to sell it again, right? You will go to the FBA liquidations, the steps here. All right. So if it can be liquidated, meaning you can still get back some by doing over here, I will show you. All right. So liquidation is over here, this part, the third point here. So you can dispose the inventory that you plan to dispose or destroy, and then you'll be able to free up storage as soon as you place the order and recover 5 to 20% of your product's value. All right. Right. So what to do if there are items that can't be liquidated, then it will be under the FBA donations program. And then if the item is also unable to be donated, then it will be disposed. All right, it'll be used to recycle or landfill products. Yeah. All right. So what I mentioned is like the outlet deal first and foremost. All right, you can run limited time deal, usually about 2 weeks, to promote your offers on the outlet deals page. All right. Or you can do a regular outlet sales over here. So these are some of the options available to seller to actually clear out their excess inventory. So over here, right, this is more about sharing with you how do you optimize your inventory during the peak seasons. All right, so as you know, this is the Prime Day is coming. For this year, the dates are out. It's actually on 11 to 12 July this year for Prime Day. All right, so what you should do is check that your restock limit and storage capacity are sufficient. Prioritize your promotion and peak seasons campaigns to increase your listing sell-through. Make good use of the FBA tool. Optimize your shipping. All right, and join the FBA new selection program if you are eligible. So even though, right, Prime Day is near already, right, you can still take these suggestions in mind because the next big sales event in Amazon will be the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So you can still leverage the suggestions, right? So again, pay attention to the cutoff time. So for Prime Day this year, the cutoff is actually 15th of June. So it's way over already, meaning that if your products do not reach the fulfillment center in the US by 15 June, there is a chance that your product will be available during the Prime Day. So, yeah, do take note of this because it will still apply for Black Friday, Cyber Monday as well. So a couple of months before the actual event, the dates for the cutoff time will be made known. So you will have to plan accordingly in advance. Due to the peak season, the shipment may be longer than usual. All right, and then these are some of the things that you can think of regarding the cutoff time. So to make sure that your inventory actually reaches the fulfillment center and be available for any promotions, deal, etc. you want to run during that period. So you should carefully consider your logistics cycle. All right. So how you can do this, you can maybe do a backward, count backwards from the latest, or rather the cutoff time that you need to reach, and then do an estimation in terms of the table over here. But I would suggest to add in a little bit more buffer to cater for the unforeseen factor, maybe, again, some pandemic or some natural disaster or some other things like strike or something that could happen. We don't know, but the best suggestion is to factor in the unforeseen factors. So you budget a bit more, like 1 or 2 extra week when you're planning your shipment in. Right. So these are just some of the shipment average time in terms of the form of transition that you are using. Now we just look at the US. All right. So you can see, right? Now, typically, if you go by shipping, I think the first one will be by sea. It takes pretty long, about 55 days, 45 to 55 days. All right, we take the longest one. It could be up to 2 months, depending on your shipment over here. And then there's also express shipping via sea as well. All right, so you can see at a very minimum, sometimes if you want to minimize the cost required for shipping, you may actually opt for maybe by default the longest delivery by sea. It takes at least 2 months, so you need to factor maybe about three months plus, around before to be safe to start the shipping into the fulfillment center. All right, but again, there are ways to reach it faster, which means it's a little bit more costly. You can go by air delivery or express air delivery. You can reach by 5 to 7 days. Similarly, you would have to factor in some of the potential delays. All right, and of course, air shipment is definitely way costs a little bit more, or quite a bit more than the sea. All right. So some strategies or successful tips that you can use that we see, like I mentioned, arrange your transit way ahead of time, make an appointment for your inbound delivery, right? Some things that you should work with your logistic provider or your freight forwarder about the scheduling and the time, right? Be clear on the time that they can deliver your products to the destination, all right? And then if you are replenishing, you also need to take care of these key period, especially during peak season, the time may be longer. And you can use a faster transit method. Like I mentioned earlier, if let's say you really need to get the products there in time, you can choose to do air or express air delivery using UPS, DHL, etc. You can do by air or sea, or you can use the Amazon cross-border fulfillment service, which we call Amazon Global Logistic, AGL. All right, I will share the link to AGL as well. So it's an additional service that you will need to sign up for an account. Then once you sign up, you can go in there and put in the query, and then somebody will actually reach out to you. You need to fill out some informations like, what is the shipment date, what is your, IOR, etc. All right, so I'll share the link at the end during the when I upload the video at the video descriptions for all the links that I've shared here. You can have a good read on that. So there are more information if you want to find out. You can go to Seller University, going to Learn under Seller University. And over there, if you already have an account in Seller Central, you will be able to keep track of your learning progress as well. So these are all the links I will share in the video description at the playback. Okay, so far I hope everyone is still with me. I'll go through some of the frequently asked questions that we see. So for FBA, right, is there a minimum weight or quantity required? So the answer is there's no minimum weight, all right, but there is a maximum, usually about more than 30 kg per product unit is not recommended because of the shipping fee and the storage size. All right, so I also share the link that you can look at the calculation of the size and product, etc. in more detail. Do note that if you are shipping the small product that is eligible based on the dimension I shared earlier on, there is this small and light program for shipping small product. All right. So for FBA, right, if we send using the FBA, is there any chance the product is returned again, and what is the reason for it? I think I shared a diagram above just now in the field site above. So depending on what kind of return, whether is it a customer return or whether shipment is rejected, right? Now, first case, if it's about ship product to Amazon FC, let's say you ship a product to Amazon FC and for some reason it has to be rejected, you will need to file a removal order on where to return to. It will be likely returned to a US-based address, and you will set up your own freight forward service to actually bring the item back to where you want it to. All right. So if it's international return, yeah, you will need to engage your own shipping provider. Okay. Now, if it's a customer return, right, it will be handled by Amazon. So Amazon will actually provide the will liaise with the customer. You will provide somebody to collect the items from the from the buyer. All right, while I'm reading through some of these common FAQ, right? If you have any questions, please feel free to put it on the Q&A. So the next common question I always got is that, can we ship to the FBA FC in Singapore? And also, does the FBA fulfillment center in Singapore ship to FBA USA for customer if our listing is on Amazon.com? So this is one of the very common question we got, because there is also, if you are located in Singapore, there is also a fulfillment center here in Singapore. So the answer is no, you cannot actually ship to the Amazon SG fulfillment center if you are selling on .com. All right, if you are selling to your customer who is on shopping on Amazon.com, you will need to ship to the fulfillment center in the US. But let's say if your intention is you want to sell internationally, all right, there is a program called FBA Export Program. You can sell to other countries besides Singapore, but then again, you will still need to ship the inventory into the US fulfillment center. Okay, now I will just go through some of the questions I got when the registrant registered. So first question is, how do I ship my items? All right. So you can send your inventory to Amazon, you create a shipping plan. There's more info in the link here, which is step-by-step guide on how to create a shipping plan, how you can pack a product, and how you can send them to the fulfillment center that Amazon designate. So do note that there is no way for you to select which fulfillment center. Once you put in the details, the fulfillment center is designated, meaning that it's assigned to you, and then you will have to use the address that is being assigned to you when you create the shipping plan. All right, but you can use the carrier of your choice to ship it to the destination. All right, so once the inventory is sent and reach the fulfillment center, it is usually scanned by the Amazon associate, and it will be available for sale usually within 3 business days, usually. All right. So another question I got from one of you is that, how do you find products to sell in Amazon that will not get you suspended? Yeah, good one. So, if you list product in Amazon, you definitely need to comply with all the laws, regulations, standards, policy for all your product listing. There is a compliance documentation in the link over here. I won't go through because it's quite a lot depending on what other products that you are going to sell. So in order not to get suspended, of course, you will get a couple of warning or account health issues before you fully get suspended. So yeah, as long as you are complying with the listing policy via the regulation standards there, it should not get you suspended. Okay, so the key thing you need to know is to understand what you can or you cannot list so that you won't get suspended. All right, so there are certain products that's may be eligible for selling on Amazon, but they may not be eligible for fulfillment by Amazon, meaning that you can sell it on Amazon, but you may not use the FBA to fulfill it. All right, some things can be found which are this product. So you would have to follow your specific product expiration date, expiry date, and the temperature sensitive product. Then you can be eligible to use FBA to fulfill your product. All right, next is, can I sell my homemade edible money on Amazon? So I don't know if I read it correctly, but I know it's like a peanut product or food, right? So do I need FDA? All right, so I would say yes. So there is some of these example of permitted listing you can read through, right? The food has to be properly prepared and sealed. All right, and then if it's beverages, it has to be packaged and labeled, and etc. Over here, all the requirements for permitted listing, right? Your product must have like product name, the name and address of the packaging company, expiry date, the content and quantity, all the info over there, and in order to be able to sell. And of course, yes, you do need the FDA requirements to get a certification. So when you actually file things like food product, in Amazon, right? Typically, based on what you put in there, it will actually prompt you to upload these certifications to get it approved before your listing goes live. So yes, I would think that you can go ahead and try to list it, and then under the system, right, when you do a listing, it will actually prompt you if you list it as a food product. So you need to have the regulatory in the US to certify your product so that you can sell it on Amazon. So there is a lot more detail over here that I will share the link as well. You can read further. All right, so anything that touches the, the mouth, food, or skin that you consume, right, usually would require quite a stringent kind of regulatory approval from the US. Yeah. How do I go about product listing as a newbie in e-commerce, and what software to use? Can I get hands-on guide? Yep. So yeah, first of all, I ran a couple of webinars before regarding how can you prepare before creating a listing, what to take note of. So you can watch the recording, or you can come to the upcoming webinar that I will share as well. For software wise, right, we don't have any recommended software to use for listing. It's actually not that complicated once you kind of know what you can do, what is the best practices, etc. So we don't have any software to recommend, etc. All right. So hands-on guide, right? On Seller University, we do have some guide about listing, and then in the upcoming months, we may prepare like some demonstration on how to list as well. So you can keep a lookout. But in the listing webinar, I will share about what you need to be prepared of before you list it. All right. Okay, I made some typo over here, huh? This is actually a question. All right, sorry about that. So the last question I got from one of you is that you were unable to add product either by Excel update or manually GUI base. So I need to know what exact error, or if you are here, let me know. All right. So yeah, there is depending on what is the error, usually the error will be quite obvious, like if it's a wrong file format, etc. It will actually prompt you when you upload it, and then will tell you it's a wrong file. But sometimes if you see no error, it is because it takes some time for the updates to be reflected backend. It's not like immediate. All right, so I experienced it myself is that, download a file, you made an update, you upload it, and then there's no error, but nothing is being updated on my listing. So that's actually because it takes a couple of, sometimes depending on how many updates you're doing, it may take a few hours, it may take like 24 hours or something. All right, depend on how much updates you're doing. So it may not be reflected immediately, if that's what you are referring to, like, oh, you make it change already, but how come my listing is still showing the old info? Yeah, so regardless if you do it by Excel or manually, right, even for GUI base, it takes some time for the updates to be approved. So it's not immediate. So yeah, if you are here, let me know what are the error that you are seeing. Okay, I saw some question, Q&A, give me some time. Okay, I have a question. I have a question from Siafik. So the FBAs start when item is delivered to fulfillment center. So the shipping from seller to the fulfillment center is done by seller, and the cost is bear by seller. All right, let me type here answer. So I repeat the question again. So the question is, the FBA start when the item is delivered to fulfillment center. So the shipping from the seller to the fulfillment center is done by seller, and the cost is borne or bear by the seller. So yes, you are right. So FBA, this whole FBA starts is at the fulfillment center. All right. So when you are enrolled and you're using FBA, so when somebody buy your product which is on FBA, yep, that will start at that point. The Amazon will take care of the product that you ship in already, and then you will start to pack and send it to your customer. So shipping from seller to fulfillment center, yes, that is probably where where you source your product from the factory or from the manufacturer or from your wholesaler. From there, you source the product, you buy your product send to the fulfillment center. Yes, that is done by the seller yourself. You would either need to find a logistic provider that can do that for you, that can take care of your cross-border shipment for you, depending on, your factory could be located in it's not in US, then you will need all these logistic provider to help you to do the cross-border shipping. And again, I will share the link. There is another services, which is the Amazon Global Logistic. They will help you to do this so-called first mile logistic from the factory to the Amazon fulfillment center. All right, it's called AGL, Amazon Global Logistic. Yeah, but of course there are some limitations. Not all countries are supported in terms of where it can ship from, or rather, yeah, where it can ship from. There are some limitations. Okay, second one. Let me see. I'm from Malaysia. Just like you said, there are multiple Amazon, like Amazon US, Amazon Singapore, etc. That I can sell my item. Now, if I want to sell international, I can send it to USFC, and if I want to sell in Singapore, I can send it to SGFC. Am I correct? Okay, I need to break down this question first. All right, so yes, there are multiple Amazon, like Amazon US, Amazon Singapore. You're right. You can sell item. So there's a couple of ways, right? If I want to sell international, I can send it to USFC, and if I want to sell in Singapore, I can send it to SGFC. Am I correct? So yes, you are right. So if you just want to sell to .com, you can send to US fulfillment center. But if you want to sell to Singapore shopper, you can ship to the the Singapore fulfillment center. However, do know that you need to create the account. It's a different account, huh? So unless you merge your account, right? If not, right, when you log into Seller Central, you need to take note on the drop down above. It's a different account. You will have a US Seller Central account. You will have a SG Seller Central account. So let's say if you want to sell in Singapore, then you need to make sure that you are selecting the SG Seller Central account. All right, and then from there you kickstart the create your shipment plan, put in the info, and then it will give you the address of the Singapore fulfillment center. All right, so I hope that answer your question. Yeah, if you want to sell in Singapore, you can create that. All right, and then separately, if you want to know more details about selling on Singapore itself, right, it's actually handled by another team, which is the Singapore team. So they will be able to answer any very specific questions that you have. But for now, I hope I helped to address the question. Yes, you can do that, but do note that it's a different account. All right, but once you merge your account, you should be able to see it on your single account login. You can choose the right account. Okay, the next question I got. Is this also applicable to online arbitrage? So the question from Sin, I only know which one you're referring to. So my understanding is online arbitrage is more like reselling. So that really depends on how you would like to do reselling. So which part are you referring to, whether it's applicable? Let me know, just so that I can address it correctly. Yeah, so you can definitely do that as well, but you need to take note of whether or not it makes sense in terms of your costs. All right, when you're doing reselling. Yep. And then you also need to make sure that the product that you're reselling, are they actually brand registered on Amazon. Let's say you want to resell on Amazon.com, right? You need to make sure whether or not are they brand registered on Amazon.com. If they are, and you are trying to resell that product, you might need to submit the approval from them to show that they are authorized reseller or something. Only then your product can be able to go live in Amazon.com. Yeah. All right, I have one more question from Anonymous. So the question is, if I register my account as individual, can I upgrade it to professional account? Is there a way All right, and vice versa. If I register in a professional account, can I downgrade it to individual? So short answer is yes. I know there is a way that you can upgrade and downgrade. Yes, no problem there. Yep, because it's a monthly fee. There is a way to. I believe there is a way to actually close or stop the so-called the monthly fee, and then it will be a individual account. All right. So if you can't do that, right, you can file a support ticket. They're usually quite fast. Let's say if you really think that you are not ready to start selling and you want to go back to individual account, yeah, you can do so. But do take note that the individual account is quite limited. You will not have access to Opportunity Explorer. And then, yeah, for every item that you are selling, every unit, they will charge a 99 cents referral fee, USD. So if you actually have about 40 sales, then it might be more, worthwhile to actually get the professional account because it's 39.99 USD. So if you sell more than 40 units, then it's actually your monthly fee for the professional account already. All right, and any more questions from anyone? I will need some of your help here. Can you help me do a short poll? It's anonymous, so let me know what you think of your experience today and whether or not I have helped to address your questions. All right. Meanwhile, if you have more questions, right, please, do share with me on the Q&A. I still have some time here. And then I will also share the next slide, which is the upcoming topics that we have. So while you are helping with me on the anonymous survey, you can see that we already have a very good lineup of July sessions. So on the 3rd of July, what you see here is all the July session. We have something about listing preparation. So I think somebody asked about guide, etc. So that is something you might be interested in. So I will talk about what you need to prepare before doing your listing, before uploading your images, etc., your copy, right? And then Prime Day is coming. For those who are interested on what Prime Day is, it's about in terms of a seller perspective, you can join the other session. And if you're interested to register your brand, you want to know what's brand protection about, you should join this new session we have regarding brand protection. So I was talking about, yes, and if you know that your friends are going to start selling on Amazon, or if you want to know more about how to go about starting an account for those who have not registered an account, we also have things about registration guide. All right, so I see another Q&A. Let me address it. All right. So I got a question from Safik. So it's regarding to the previous question, right? I think the previous question, Safik asked about the FBA, whether does it start when the item is delivered to the fulfillment center? All right. So there's a follow-up from Safik. Is there any logistic supported by Amazon for seller to send to FC or FBA? Yes. I will share the link. So the link, I will share it on the past webinar recording under video description. There is this thing called AGL. All right, AGL stands for Amazon Global Logistic. So it is like a part of additional services that is provided that you can engage them. So yep, and then they will be able to provide you, or they will ask you for more details, like whether if you buy the product already, what is the weight, what is the size, how many pallet or carton, etc. All right, I'll share with you the link. So you will go there and sign up, and after that they will send you an email to ask you to go Seller Central and click on it, and then over there you will key in your details of your shipping, etc., and then they'll get to you regarding any additional fees, etc. All right, and again, some limitation is that depending on your country, so you need to check with them as well. They will provide some service, but not for all the countries that they can ship from. Or depend on where you source your product. Right, some country they support. I know China, I think they support. So if you're shipping from China, they do provide a service to provide the services that help you ship from China to the US. Yeah. Yep. And right. Okay, so let me see if there's any more questions from anyone. Thanks everyone for sharing the poll. I will end the poll now. I'll be still here for about a minute. Right, I think we are a little bit over time, but I'll be here for about a minute. So let me know if you still have any more questions. If not, I will see you at the next webinar. And there will be a post survey as well when you close this, right? If you can let us know what are the topics you're interested, what are the things that you think that we would have talked more, but it's not, let us know. We will be able to incorporate that. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you, Rika. Thanks for the encouragement. Thank you so much. So, yep, there is a couple of QR code for those who are still here. Yep, do a quick scan. And then if you can't find the sign up link for July yet, that's because I've not live the page yet. So it will be live by today. Tonight, hopefully. So by tomorrow, you should be able to sign up on the first QR code. That is where the official AGS webinars and event page, you can start to see all the webinar registration link, and you can go there and sign up and get a slot. Yep. And then to view the recording in the past or for the recording today, you can go to the second QR code. All right. So there is a couple of seller communities. So over here, I only show one, which is for the RSEA. I know there is a Philippine community as well, and I know there is a Malaysia Facebook page as well. So feel free to reach out and find out where you can join a very active seller community that can help one another. All right, I don't see any more questions. So thank you so much, everyone, for your participation and really, really appreciate your time here. I look forward to see you on the next webinar. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.